Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the first and opening part of What If Goku Was an Elite Saiyan. Please like the video to help with the video's algorithm and subscribe, it's totally free and you can unsubscribe when you want. I cannot give enough thanks and appreciation through words for how thankful I am for the amount of support I had for my last What If. It was amazing. Going part to part, seeing you guys' suggestions, critical feedback, it all fed right into the What If and made it amazing, and it was really fun to script and just make in general. I've really enjoyed making this channel much more collaborative as your suggestions almost directly affect how the channel runs. There's something much else I want to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
One time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
To start off, I'm going to give a little minor details on Goku's life before his trip to planet Earth. Bardock this time isn't a low-class warrior, but is instead an elite. His family tree is loosely related to the royal family of planet Vegeta, and his power level is much closer to Prince Vegeta. We don't actually know King Vegeta's power level, but we can just assume Bardock's new power level will be more than 10,000. Goku's born with a much more promising power level, 600, however Bardock sees the vision and is worried about his son's health and life. He decides to send him off to planet Earth for his survival, and hopefully he can thrive in such a low threat environment. Goku cries as he is sent off to Earth, and planet Vegeta is still destroyed by the tyrant Frieza, as done in canon. Grandpa Gohan still dies as Goku transforms into Nuzaru, reaching a dangerously high power level of around 7,000. From Gohan to minor training with Goku, his power level was able to boost slightly to 700. During the first saga in Dragon Ball, Goku is easily able to handle his opponents. Everyone from the likes of Yamcha to Pilaf, once the full moon is out, he turns into Nuzaru and causes much more overall damage than in actual canon. Also, Master Roshi's training allows Goku to boost his power level up to around 800. His power level isn't raising much because there isn't actually much that these people can train him. The only thing really handed to him by his senseis and masters is the true technique of fighting, which won't actually increase his power level all that much. Since Krillin has a much stronger training partner, it makes him train much harder and actually makes him significantly stronger too. Both of them dominate the tournament, but Krillin is still eliminated by Jackie Chun. Goku is able to defeat Jackie Chun with ease. He doesn't look at the full moon this time and doesn't even become a great ape. This also means that the moon isn't destroyed. This time the Red Ribbon Army get dealt with much quicker by Goku, and there just doesn't seem to be any competition for him. After these events take place, Goku is able to dominate the next tournament that he's in with Tien. Tien is able to show great power for his other fighters, but once he is up against Goku, he is dealt with quite swiftly. Goku, now with a power level reaching 850, is able to dominate the fighter and shows elite levels of fighting ability. The King Piccolo saga comes around, and Krillin this time is able to hold his own against Tambourine and actually drive him away. He doesn't actually succeed in defeating him, but he surprises Tambourine by his power. Once Goku faces Tambourine, he takes him out with ease, and once King Piccolo defeats Master Roshi and gets his youth, Goku doesn't even need to go and get something to gain strength, and with his power alone, he is able to defeat King Piccolo, but his son survives the battle still. Goku gets Kami's attention and is very willing to train him. He might have already surpassed him in raw power, but when it comes to fighting technique and techniques, Kami tops him. When Goku enters the hyperbolic time chamber, Goku is actually able to stay in there for the full year with his far enhanced power level and can train with Kami in there to get some extra training done. Goku's power level skyrockets to 3,000 after this training, and his control over his power has increased a lot more too. Once the tournament arrives, Goku wipes the floor with everyone he fights. During the 5 years between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Goku has some moderate training with Kami and also grows up his child, Gohan. Gohan, being a hybrid Saiyan, is born with a power level of 800, more than his father. Goku's power level is now a solid 5,000 in weighted clothing. Piccolo sees how much stronger Goku is than him, so he decides to train much harder than in canon. He can't get anywhere near to catching up with the Saiyan, so his power level is stuck at around 500, which is still very impressive. Also, Goku still has his tail from long ago, and he has actually gained a little bit of control over the Uzaru. Kami saw potential in that form, so he decided to make Goku control it, constantly putting himself at risk. Luckily, it didn't take long before Goku got the hang of it, and now Goku could actually distinguish between friend or foe in the heat of battle with the form. But he can't do anything complex like talk. Raditz arrives on Earth and first gets encountered by Piccolo. He is easily able to take down the Namekian, and then he continues on to the Kami House to meet his long lost brother Goku. Kakarot, Raditz shouts from outside the house in his gleaming Saiyan armor. Unlucky for Goku, him being an elite Saiyan also means that Raditz will be one too. His power level is at an astonishing 11,000, being very close to Vegeta's. This means Goku will have to put up a real fight to defeat him. Goku arrives from inside the house and faces his brother with intensity. Raditz goes on to explain the origin of him and his brother, but Goku denies it, strongly claiming that he's an Earthling. Raditz clicks some odd button on his scouter and starts scanning. 800. Very impressive for your child, Kakarot. 1,800? Kakarot, why are you so weak? Raditz states, clicking away at the device to see if it's broken. Goku stops suppressing himself and reveals his full power, showing off his immense key signature. Raditz sees the power increase and is confused. How could he increase his power in an instant like that? Raditz sees the plan isn't working, so he goes in to snatch Gohan. However, Goku lands a kick to his stomach to send him flying into the water ahead of them. Next, Goku unleashes a destructive ki blast and powers up to the maximum, showing off his white aura. Raditz just laughs after the 2 hits and zooms right back to Goku, kicking him right through the entire house. He snatches a scared Gohan and flies off into the distance with him. Seeing the severity of the situation, Goku and Piccolo both fly off to face Raditz as teammates. So you both came to face me. You will foolishly die by my hand, Raditz declares, showing off a little ki flowing off in his hand. Goku and Piccolo both take off their weights and Piccolo's power level raises to 500. Goku's raises past his 5,000 power levels up to 6,230. If you use the same multiplier for Goku's weighted clothing in canon, it increases by the same amount on ratio. You might be wondering, if Goku's stronger since he has a much higher power level and his weighted clothing would be the same weight, wouldn't the weighted clothing have even less of an effect and basically make his power level still around 5,000? The thing is that Goku here would have heavier clothing here since he is also much stronger, so the ratio can still apply. To start off the battle, Raditz uses his double Sunday, but both Goku and Piccolo are able to evade the attack with flight. Goku launches out a one-hand energy wave that Raditz easily dodges with a simple leap. Good, your power level jumped past 6,000. Your power level was a little too close to Nappa's, he remarks, thrilled by the fight ahead of him. Piccolo uses every ounce of power he has and powers up into his gigantic form. His 60% power increase gives him a new 780 power level, and Raditz doesn't look the slightest bit concerned. The Saiyan flies at amazing speeds and punches Piccolo in the stomach so hard that he just passes out, falling to the ground and shrinking once he lands. The fight continues on for a little while and Raditz is clearly the one dominating the fight. Goku has moderate injuries while Raditz is only left with a few bruises and chinks in his armor. You have amused me for a time. It was fun. Now I end you, Raditz says boldly, starting off the battle once again. Raditz throws a punch to his stomach then blocks a kick, finishing with a kick of his own. This almost breaks Goku's arm and he slams him down while clamping onto his orange gi. The ground cracks and breaks under the force and Goku coughs blood with a scream to follow afterwards. Raditz punches him in the stomach extremely hard, then in one last ditch effort grabs his brother's tail. He seems a little bewildered by it but just isn't affected at all. In retaliation he just kicks Goku in the nose and walks away, ripping his hand off. Once he does this, he senses an abnormal power level stemming from behind him, Gohan. His power level is skyrocketed to 12,000 and his aura is menacing. He flies right at Raditz and pulls his hands back. A blue ball grows in between them and he launches his very first Kamehameha wave. Raditz is caught in the heat of the blast and is heavily injured. His armor has cracked and broken apart with one of his shoulder plates breaking off too. You pest, he curses, grabbing his hurt shoulder in pain. After this happens, Goku comes out from behind and kicks him in that same arm. Raditz shouts from the pain and gets punched in the stomach. The next few attacks catch him off guard and land well, weakening him even further. As he is sliding back from an attack, he launches a fake moon into the air with the last of his stamina. He falls onto his back, then begins transforming, as well as the two Saiyans in front of him. All three grow into menacing Uzaru, and surprisingly, both Goku and Raditz have control. Raditz has a new power level of 110,000, but due to his injuries, he probably can't fight at that standard. Gohan's is 9,000 and Goku's is 62,300. Gohan runs at Raditz wildly and tries to slam into him. In one shot, Raditz is able to knock him out and render him useless. Raditz just laughs in his new deep voice and clashes with Goku, showing superior strength. He punches Goku in the face, then kicks him in the ribs, finishing off with a strike to the collarbone. Goku swings sluggishly, but Raditz is able to dodge and strike his kneecap, following up with a punch to his sternum. Goku literally flies off his feet, and since a 20% difference in power level is all that's needed to dominate an opponent in Dragon Ball, Goku is getting destroyed. Gut punches, kicks, you name it, and Raditz is destroying Goku with it. Eventually, Goku lands flat on his back and is barely able to retaliate. However, Raditz's tail is cut off by Piccolo's special beam cannon. He has now woken up and is clearly weak, dropping to one knee after charging up that attack. Goku stands up after seeing a chance to win and slams Raditz into the ground extremely hard. He screams in pain as his Saiyan armor shatters under the force. Goku grabs the back of his head by his hair and squeezes on his body, cracking and breaking his bones. Goku then throws him to the ground and almost kills him with the impact force. Raditz, stop this. You don't have to kill us or destroy our planet. Why can't we just live in peace and harmony? Goku pleads in a dark and evil sounding voice. Raditz coughs out blood and Goku just destroys the fake moon with a mouth blast, returning to his ordinary form. Raditz is left weak and feeble, barely able to move. Goku takes him in and is able to heal him with the use of a senzu bean. At the Kami house, everyone else is scared to see what will happen. He awakes and immediately goes to punch Kakarot, but Goku cowers away and shouts, "Stop, don't do this," Goku requests fearfully. Raditz takes a second to think, then removes his scouter, shattering it with a squeeze. "Why should I listen to you, Kakarot?" he shouts as he sits up. "Because I saved your life," Goku states coldly, hoping to switch his brother's motive. Raditz just doesn't reply for a few seconds and says fine, but 2 more Saiyans will be coming in 6 months. One is much stronger than me and the other is fodder compared to us. He is just middle class, but we are Saiyan elites related to the royal bloodline. Raditz proclaims proudly, clenching his fist in the process. "Fine, I know where we can get stronger in preparation for that." In the hyperbolic time chamber, Gohan, Raditz and Goku all enter. Gohan shows his elite training growth and is able to eventually hang with his father and uncle in the heat of battle. Of course he is far inferior, but is capable of trading blows for a time. Also, Raditz teaches him how to control his Uzaru with the fake moon. By the end of the whole year, Gohan's power level raises to astronomically high levels at 6,000. He has much better training and actually has sparring partners. Goku's power level raises high up to 10,000, Raditz beams up to 15,000. Luckily, they still have 6 more months left after using just a day. Piccolo is able to train with the 3 Saiyans too, and his training becomes much more efficient. He's reluctant at the start due to his arrogance, but after a while he settles down and realizes how beneficial the training could be. Now here are all the power levels before the arrival of Vegeta on Earth. Piccolo has a power level of 5,500. His stronger training partners means that he's able to grow more quicker. Gohan has a power level of 9,000. He has had an extra 6 months to train, so he gets a chunky power boost on top of his 6,000 from the bunch of extra training in the HTC. Goku's is 13,000 and Raditz 18,000, bang on equal to his boss Vegeta. I believe these massive power boosts can be explained by the bunch of Zenkais the warriors received. With the constant supply of senzu beans from Goku, he is able to speed up their healing and provide them with Zenkais much quicker, much faster. The 2 Saiyans, Nappa and Vegeta, arrive on Earth. Nappa destroys an entire city with the movement of his arm and they eventually confront the Z-Fighters. "Hello, Earthlings." "Raditz, I thought you were dead," Vegeta blurts out in confusion. Bulma managed to recreate his Saiyan armor so he has the armor he had before. "I'm here to finally defeat you, Vegeta," Raditz claims, making Vegeta burst out laughing. "Raditz, you're an elite, but I'm directly part of the strongest Saiyan bloodline. Have you gotten weaker?" Vegeta asks randomly, after seeing his power level only at 2,000. He can remember it being around 10,000 and Nappa steps up proudly. "I can take him, sir." "Fine, let me see how much weaker he has become," Vegeta says, clearly confused and trying to gain info on the encounter. Nappa roars and releases his maximum power, reaching a power level of 4,000. Raditz doesn't seem phased at all and simply closes his eyes, releasing the heavy suppressions on his body. He opens his eyes and his power level raises to 16,000, surprising Vegeta. Raditz is able to almost knock out Nappa with one punch to his stomach. Nappa flies off his feet and rolls across the ground in shock from the pain. Raditz flies into the air and launches down his ki blast, almost killing Nappa in the process. Vegeta just looks at the injured Saiyan in disgust and raises a palm to kill him himself. Once he shoots the ki blast at Nappa, it's slapped away by none other than Goku at max power. 13,000, I know they're elites, but they shouldn't be rivals in power to the royal bloodline, Vegeta states, staring at both the fighters in confusion. Raditz powers up as much as he can and wraps the tail around his waist. Piccolo flies past the Saiyans and says, "You will die by my hand," he shouts, aiming for Vegeta's head. He slips out of the way, then kicks Piccolo so hard in his stomach that he passes out. To finish off, he launches an energy wave right at him and kills him. Piccolo! Goku shouts from the sidelines. Raditz sees this and takes the chance to fly towards Vegeta, and they both clash. The ground below cracks under the pressure and Raditz is able to land a swinging kick. Once the fighters collide, they can be easily labelled as equals. They have different advantages in combat though. Vegeta is clearly fighting skill and talent, while Raditz has a lot of brute power and athleticism. He can punch harder, run faster, fly faster, etc. Vegeta punches Raditz in the stomach, but then he retaliates with a powerful kick. As he slides back, Raditz releases his powerful double Sunday attack. Vegeta blocks as the attack is too fast to evade or catch. He is left with moderate injuries and cracks in his armour, but nothing more than that. Vegeta is now disgracing himself for receiving injury from anyone of lower class than him. However, he feels much less bad since they are at the top of the Saiyan class hierarchy. "Fight away from here, it's not safe," Goku shouts while waving his hands. Raditz just nods and signals for Vegeta to follow him. The remaining Z fighters follow, mainly to watch really. Raditz stands on a rock pillar in Goku's position and Vegeta stands on the same one as he did in the show too. "I'll finally kill you and take your rank as Prince, Vegeta," Raditz declares, making his unique stand. Vegeta just chuckles from above and flies down towards Raditz. He knees him in the face and slams him through an entire pillar. As Vegeta approaches, swinging in for another kick, Raditz is just about able to evade and strike back with a punch. Following that, their two punches hit each other and they are bang on equal. The fight continues and both seem to be doing just fine. Their hits are inflicting around the same amount of damage, but Raditz edges out on his opponent. They both have moderate to heavy injury and have been weakened from the combat. Raditz lands next to Goku and begins to reveal the info that he's gained. "The fake moon will be useless if we are the same strength. I need to find a way to beat him alone," Raditz claims, staring down his enemy. "Yes, I have an idea. Kakarot, be ready when I say okay," Raditz asks, pointing to his brother. Goku nods and then he continues the fight with Vegeta. This time he lets him land several attacks that damage him, punches to the gut, kicks to the face, everything. This indefinite boost of Vegeta's ego really fuels him in the battle and gives him quite a maniacal smile. "You really thought that you could surpass me, Raditz? You are foolish," Vegeta shouts, landing punches that Raditz doesn't seem to be blocking in the slightest. Once this happens, Raditz flies away and back to Goku. "A Senzu Bean," he shouts, lifting his palm out. Goku throws one and he catches it. "Sorry, Kakarot," Raditz says before diverting his path and making Vegeta slam into him. Goku actually gets quite hurt from this, but is able to kick Vegeta off and just about dodge a swing to his head. He then flies away as fast as he possibly can and Vegeta is able to catch up slowly. However, Raditz lands in front of him with even more power than before. 20,000? So that will conclude the first part of What If Goku Was an Elite Saiyan. These videos just keep getting longer. I don't know if I'm making the scripts longer, but I really don't mind. I know you guys don't mind either since it's just more content for you. Tell me something you liked about the video or something that I can improve on for the next part in the comments. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.